Hello, my name is Natalie Thompson, and you are listening to my Off Her Tree podcast, where we discuss spirituality, healing, mystical experiences, and so much more. And today, we have a right treat. We have my good friend, Jayne Whittaker.
That's me.
It is. So, Jayne I don't quite know how to introduce Jayne, but I'm going to try. So Jayne is very in touch with angels.
hmm
She is a healer and she works with God, source
Yeah.
energy and divine beings with Jesus, Yeshua, and Mary Magdalene and other beings of the light. She
Exactly.
works with the light. So Jayne has been on a spiritual journey well, you've always been very spiritual,
Yeah.
but very much the last 4 years is when it's ramped right up.
Yeah. Fully.
So that is what we're going to talk about. And because we're friends, we're going to just have a right nice chat.
Amazing.
I
I must be
hope
dead comfy.
dead comfy. Brilliant. We've both got our socks on with these dresses.
Yeah.
Haven't we? Just keeping it real.
Yeah.
We'll show you in a bit. So, Jayne, why don't we go to the beginning? So, my experience with anybody that I've spoken to that's been on a spiritual path and on a spiritual awakening journey has been through quite a lot of suffering.
hmm
And I think that's what leads us all
Yeah.
to searching on some level. So, what was the catalyst for you really searching? Or maybe we go before then, like, as a child, were you into things already? Were you searching from an early age?
I think it was always there. So from a young age, I'd always believed in fairies. I'd always believed in angels. Growing up as a teenager, I was always scared of the dark as well. I always used to feel like I would hear things and see things, which I think most children do. I mean, which actually they are seeing things and hearing things. And then I feel like things just get shut down the way that they obviously do with most children. And then as a teenager in early 20s and early 30s, always loved mediums. I'd go and see a little psychic occasionally. So I wouldn't have really said I was spiritual, but I was open.
Interested.
I was really interested and I was open to anything really.
Yeah.
So, but that was about it. And yes, I believed in angels. I believed in God. I believed in Jesus, but that was it. There was a belief there.
And was there a religion in the background?
Yeah,
Were you...
I'm Catholic. We got christened Catholic when I was I don't know, in primary school. Yeah, primary school it was. So Mum changed from Church of England to Catholic. So I used to go to church and I used to like going, but all of that, it was just very surface level.
Yeah.
I believe, yes, Catholic, we'd watch Jesus films at Christmas, which I loved doing. My dad,
Spartacus.
I would love Spartacus, a little bit of Ben-Hur. I love them all.
With a selection box.
I absolutely love I love those. I've watched them with my dad. We'd always watch like biblical films,
Yeah.
and my dad would always talk about Da Vinci and the Book of Enoch. So all of these things were always very much in the background.
Okay.
Well, that was about it.
So what happened?
Oh, well, the awakening.
Well, let's get to be just before the awakening because you went through quite tough.
And I think this happens with most people that have an awakening. We think we are having a breakdown. And I did have a breakdown. I had a physical and emotional breakdown. Many years of on and off antidepressants, probably 20 plus years on, coming off them. The same with sleeping tablets, painkillers, diazepams, all of those kind of things. Like there was an addiction to them.
Yeah.
At the time, I would never have said
Yeah.
these things were an addiction.
Well, they're a crutch.
Nothing.
They're a crutch.
I just wanted things to be numb. I didn't ever want to feel what was within me. Didn't want to feel me. Didn't want to be connected to me. So I was always either going out partying, going on a bender, drinking a lot, and then sleeping tablets and all those kind of things. So they did turn into addictions. And then I just it was a breakdown. I had a really successful career in makeup and just had one day I was like, I can't do this anymore. I just cannot do it.
So was the I can't do this anymore because things weren't feeling aligned, or was it just the pace you kind of reached?
It was the pace. It was hammering things. It was working the most ridiculous hours, talking like 18-hour days, and then taking things to stay awake, and then taking things to stay to sleep. So
uppers and downers.
Absolutely, and that was me, up, down, up, down.
Yeah.
So then your body gets to a point where it's like, you're done now. We're taking this away from you. You are done. So then it's just, then you go into that big spiral of depression, can't leave the house, can't work, can't do that job anymore. You know, the money only lasts so long, and then everything just, it falls away, doesn't it? Doesn't fall.
Doesn't feel like it's falling away, does it?
No.
It's like it's crashing. But
No, it's horrific.
yeah.
Horrific. And you never feel like there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel when you're in something like that, when you are literally, when you think you're losing everything, you've nowhere to live, and you've got no money coming in. But that was the beginning. That was
So did you literally kind of lose everything
everything.
then?
I was self-employed, a single mum, you know, and you got no money coming in. They come to a point where like you can't pay your rent or you can't pay your mortgage. There was about a 2-month period where Robin had to go and live. I shouldn't say this, should I?
That's all right. It's your daughter. Yeah.
She had to go and live with a boyfriend, and she was just going into college as well. It was a really difficult time. But we managed to come out of it. But yeah, that was that I would say was the lowest time, and definitely I would say suicidal thoughts as well.
Right.
If it hadn't have been for the girls, I'd be like, I do not want to be here. I cannot cope. I see no way out of this. I have got nothing to offer anyone. And then you isolate yourself from people as well, don't you? Like, you don't want to pick up the phone. It's like, I've got nothing to say. It's like, all I want to do is cry.
Well, I think as well, when you've always identified a certain way, and then whatever needs, we don't realise this at the time, but as things start to fall away out of your control, and you have to relinquish that control, that feeling, that identity, as the identity falls away, that is when the ego will come in and tell you that what's the point?
And that was very much it, because I had a really successful career, and I kind of attached myself to the job I was doing and the people I was working with. It's like, who am I now? Have I got that career? Have I got anything? I haven't got anywhere to live. I've got no money. So yeah. I'm not saying that's after that.
I don't know. So, don't worry, we'll get the end. Thanks for tuning in. So what happened? What was the turning point?
So the turning point, I need to think about this in a minute. It's all right. It's supposed to all just flow, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just go. Okay. So the turning point was, after getting back in work, I was on a bit of a bit of a self-healing journey, because I knew that I couldn't be dipping in and out of things, going back on antidepressants, couldn't keep drinking. So those things started to naturally kind of fall away a little bit. I was in like the 5 a.m. club, getting up in the morning, time I was doing a sales job from home during lockdown. So I was doing all of these things to try and get myself better.
But what was the driving force? What do you think? There's something just ignites inside you and goes, right, come on, and starts looking for these things? Because obviously, if you go from feeling suicidal, like what was it that there must have been a little spark? There must have been a spark.
My daughter got really poorly,
right?
Really, really poorly. And I was on a place where, like, we found somewhere to live. I got a house on the other side of Manchester. So things were starting to kind of build up really slowly.
Yeah.
And then Robin got really ill, and I was just like, right, I need to sort myself out now. So it was like a bit of a self-discovery journey, like journaling, meditating, which I could never do, so my mind would never sit still, and I'd go, okay, I'm bored of this, I need to go do something else. And then, by a miracle, as these things do happen, I was introduced to plant medicines. Right. So that was definitely I was on a path, like a little self-discovery. I'd always believed, but it was the plant medicines, but they arrived at the time when I needed them the most.
So was the initial plant medicine introduction, was it a big journey? Or was it microdosing?
No, it was I went straight in, like typical me though. Some things never change. It's like,
well, not now.
Well, it is kind of with what I'm doing now. It's all or nothing. Like, I'm totally in. And I was just like, right, okay, I'll do it. You know, I tried mushrooms in the wrong environment in Amsterdam about 15 years before. But I was told by someone, like, you really need to come and try this now. I think it's really going to help you. And I was like, do you know what? let's
do it.
Yeah, and I think I probably stopped drinking then. And I definitely stopped doing like the party things.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, yeah, okay. And
I weren't allowed out, were we? So that was helpful.
Yeah, well, true. Didn't really stop a lot of people though.
I think most people got a drink problem after it. But but so you went the other way for you.
Yeah, no, the thing was, now I know, I was so open. I had no expectations. I was like, right, come on, let's try something else. But talk about divine timing. It had to go through all of those things. Robin had to be in that place as well. And then he was brought to me.
Yeah, it's like everything is working in perfection.
Absolutely.
To make for the highest good of everyone.
Yeah.
So, so obviously the mushrooms. So did you have a profound experience?
Yeah, it was a proper like deep mushroom journey where you was in it for like 6 to 8 hours.
Right.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing. I was just in a place of so much peace and joy and just like, look at that tree. Look at you. Look at you. You're beautiful. Everything was just magical and just in so much peace. And during my experience, so obviously you are having a hallucinogenic experience, psychedelic experience. But for me, I was experiencing angels.
So the first go was angels.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. I was seeing angels and I was seeing energy, but and like codes and symbols. But again, because I didn't know anything about mushrooms, so I'm like, I'm tripping. Yeah. But I know when I said that was that experience. But after that, the next day, I was still taking at that time painkillers and diazepam, and I would have them every morning. And then the day after that mushroom ceremony, it got like late afternoon the next day, and I was literally in this bubble of like, what is this? I feel so happy. And I was like, I'm not taking a painkiller or a diazepam, and everything stopped from that point.
Wow. Just like there's an opening.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, divine intervention.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know for me, when I did my first mushroom, I mean, no, yours was angels. But I had there was no visuals. I mean, and again, I had no expectation.
Yeah.
I just probably thought I was probably going to go lie down, shut my eyes.
Yeah.
Sat up, chatting with God.
Yeah, amazing.
Absolutely
amazing.
Being put into yoga position.
Oh,
I don't even know those positions. I was literally being moved along the floor.
Yeah, amazing.
And well, you know, when you've had that experience, you changed forever.
Never going back.
You changed forever because I mean, we both, been in a party lifestyle, done plenty of drugs, escapism and all that, and always been the last to bed.
Always.
We realised that we both were it's a good job we didn't know each other.
Actually, it's a really job, yeah. There's a reason we didn't meet that.
There was a good reason. Yeah, very good reason we didn't meet then. But yeah, like, when you have these profound experiences, even if you were to speak to somebody and their first reaction or response might be, yeah, but you were like, on something. Nah, it's not that. You're opened. You're opened, you're connected to the divine.
And it is that kind of experience where you can say, well, you're on this, you're on that. But it's what happens after that, and that's what happened for me. So, like I said, straight from that point, I started microdosing. Yeah, I spoke to my brother, and he's like, yeah, I've been doing this for years. I was like, what are these things? Started going down like rabbit hole with mushrooms and watching documentaries and TED talks.
Yeah.
Started microdosing, and honestly, from that ceremony, everything just changed from that point because it was something that was in me. Yeah. And I'd felt love for the first time, like that unconditional love. The next day I was like, it's like, you have your baby and you hold your baby for the first time. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but sleepless nights happen and like normal life. And you're like, oh, it's not that. Like,
it's that beginning bit.
Yeah. But I was feeling that constantly. And I realised that's one of the things mushrooms bring in. They bring that feeling of self-loving because it's unconditional love. And if you can feel that, you are that. Made me a bit emotional just trying to say that to everyone else as well, don't you? When you're feeling that, you're just looking at people and it's like, everyone's got their own story, everyone's on their own journey, everyone's got their own problems, but I feel like you look at people with more compassion.
I mean, just coming into the microdosing, obviously the microdosing is different to the bigger, the bigger experiences. That it's not for everyone, the bigger experience.
Yeah.
If there's any fear, forget it.
Absolutely not.
But, with the microdosing, as far as from an antidepressant perspective, or, anti-anxiety, antidepressant, and connection to self. Yeah. It's that connection to self. And then the synchronicities.
Like the numbers, they start happening
the numbers, like you just end up like, it really is like you couldn't say any of it's coincidence. Not when every time you go in the kitchen.
And you can't get away from it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Once you're in that place where you actually don't even know it's an awakening. And you're just like, what are these things happening? Numbers, I'm going in rooms, the lights are flickering, pictures are falling off, just like crazy stuff where you do start thinking, if I say to somebody, I'm walking in a room and lights are flickering, alarms are going off, pictures are falling off walls, I'm like, yeah, right, you're mad. Absolutely, you're sectioning. But they wouldn't they? So you have to really go inwards with it. But when you said before about when people say, oh, but you've been on a trip, you're seeing angels, you're speaking to God, it's what's happening afterwards, because things were going on weeks and weeks afterwards. When I'm closing my eyes, I'm like seeing angels, or I'm opening my eyes and I'm seeing energy and beings of light. I'm not on mushrooms now. Yes, I'm microdosing. Yeah. It's a micro dose. Yes.
So perceptive.
But they are the gateway. For me, they were anyway.
Yeah, me too. So as far as, obviously you started seeing angels, and what was the kind of what happened for you to start thinking, right, this needs to be my job now?
Because it wouldn't stop. It would not stop, and it wouldn't go away, and it was all consuming, where it pushed me away, because at the time obviously I'd left makeup, and then I went into a sales job, which was
corporate,
which was so far removed from who I was as a creative, and somebody that isn't academic, probably ADHD, like absolutely like up the wall really. So working in the corporate environment, it was so far removed from me, but I'd put all of this stuff into the mix. I was like, got to the point where somebody was even stopping me opening a laptop, because if I knew, can't do this, I need to go to work, but I'm even going to lift the laptop up. So
it's like the blocks start coming into the point where you're trying to do work, and I'm trying to look at it, and it's almost like you can't even see what it's.
Yeah, you can't even see. Yeah. It's crazy. And I know it sounds crazy, but we are not the only people that have been through this. So people that have them are like, oh yeah, we're getting that. It's not a midlife crisis, it's an awakening.
Yeah.
But, there's more of it now, isn't there? I feel like when we went through it, there wasn't.
I just think there's a mass awakening going on. I think there's a huge shift in consciousness, and there's lots of people. I mean, we could talk about, we'll come on to it properly, but even like the events that you've held here, the number of women that are coming in here from really big jobs, like CFOs, CEOs, even like judges, because they're going, this does not resonate with me anymore. I just want to do Reiki.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's across the board. There's and if it's not happened yet, it's coming.
Oh yeah, definitely,
it's coming without doubt. So so about moving into it as a job. So how did
it was just like one night I was up with my cards, which used to be a regular thing. I'd just be out with the soundboard in the living room. That was it. Everything just consumed like cards. So I'm doing these things. The cards are coming alive. New things are coming through my hands. And then one night,
talk about hands in a rush.
Hands. I've always actually been really animated with my hands. You probably know this. No, I know, but they've always been there. Clearly haven't they? Just one night I was doing whatever I was doing, and it was clear as you're speaking to me now, you need to go and do Reiki. And I'd heard of Reiki, I'd never had it, didn't really know anything about it. And then the next thing I've gone and booked on a course to go and do it. When I did this course, and then it was very clear when I walked in and we practiced for the first time that I was doing something very different to what there was about 30 people in the room were doing. Right. But I knew at that point, I was like, all right, okay, I'm going to do this. And it was, I just had a knowing, but I didn't know how it was all going to happen, what was going to happen, but what I knew was something different to Reiki. but I knew it was my calling.
Yeah.
I just knew it within me.
It's like within the feel. It's like your soul speaking to you, isn't it? It's like just an inner knowing that's undeniable. And nobody else could tell, even if they say, well, that's a bit of a risk, but you're walking away from your 40, 50 grand job.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I
can't do it. Yeah. I just knew. So like I'd done that course and I did all the different levels within Reiki. And then I was just practicing on people, like I've done this. And people that were around me, they saw something was going on with me as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, I've done a practice on you. And then they'd be like, okay. And they'd tell their friends and so on and so on and so on. And people were having really profound experiences when I was doing the work, because even then I was bringing the angelic energies through. So whether people were then being opened up to an awakening or connecting with angels or even experiencing loved ones that have passed over, really profound things were happening.
So you were like channeling?
Yeah, very much so. And then I was just like, then it got to the point with the job that I was in at the time, I was like, right, I can't put this off anymore. I can't say I'm sick anymore. You've got to go now. You've done with that. So I literally was like, right, I don't know how this is going to happen, how I'm going to do it, but that's it. I'm not going back to that job. Don't know how I'm going to pay my bills at home. Literally, God, if I'm meant to do this, like, send people. And it's literally from nothing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is quite amazing, actually, when I think about it.
And obviously you've got this beautiful studio in Wilslow.
But that was also because initially, like, somebody really helped me. They saw something in what I was doing, and a friend that I'd known for years. But we were on acquaintances. And she saw something I was doing on Instagram. She's like, are you doing sound baths? And I was like, no, they're just my bowls. Are just whacking them in. Apparently I can play them. I'm not trained in them, but apparently it sounds good. And she's like, oh, and she's like, what are you doing? I said, well, I've done this Reiki course, but I feel like it's something different. She went, I love Reiki, come and do that on there. So I went to do it on her, and then she was like, are you going to do this for a job? And I was like, oh, I don't know. She's like, I've got a studio in Wilslow. She went, people need to experience what you are doing. So she,
thank you.
Yeah, she, I have, you know what I mean? I've got to thank for so much, because I wouldn't have this place without her. Somebody that saw something and helped me out as well, massively. Yeah, and now I got this. I think I'm going into nearly 3 years, a full year on my own, like maybe 2.5, 3 years now.
And so let's talk about sort of some of the success stories there. So people that you've worked with, that you've really helped. I mean, I've obviously come and done a few workshops with the breath work and sort of the combined sound, but obviously you've done a lot of one-to-ones with people.
Yeah, that's how I remember in my work.
You're helping a lot of people who are, probably either on a path or certainly searching. People who've really been struggling with mental health, depression, etc. So what you kind of typically find, and what are people saying to you about your work?
I have a whole host of different people. So people that are coming through for grief.
Yeah.
If there is a lot of anxiety and depression and sadness and addictions, a lot of people coming through that have suffered sexual abuse.
Okay.
As well, especially in childhood.
Right.
So a whole host of different things. Occasionally people that are already on a journey will come, but I feel the people that are sent to me, I do believe that they're sent to me for me to open something and assist them on their awakening. It's not me, it's the energies born through me.
Yeah,
that is done. That is what has happened over the last few years. And so initially they'll probably come for healing, or they'll come for grief, or they'll come to a sound bath. They have no idea. It's not always recommendation why they're coming to see me. And it isn't always for the grief or for the healing. It's to open them up to something and connect them. So they go on their own awakening, they find themselves.
Yeah.
They connect with angels, and it does, and I'm not afraid to say this anymore. It will connect them with God and a higher power, Mother Mary, Jesus.
That's it. It's that's within, isn't it? It's that opening the bit that is in all of us. Yeah. But it's just having access to that, and sometimes we need somebody else to show us that it's there.
You also sometimes need something that we're not always able to access ourselves. So for me, I accessed it initially through the mushrooms, even though I don't do the ceremonies anymore because I don't need to. Now I'm kind of equipped with things where I can connect without that. Sometimes just see, people just need to have an experience where they actually need to see something and feel it and sense it, where they're like, oh wow, okay, here we go. Let's go. What else can you show me?
Like, it's like, what's, it's just that little taster that there is something else.
Yeah, but people got to experience.
I don't think most people do believe there's got to be something else. I mean, the amount of atheists that you see that have had full-on spiritual awakenings because I just realised that there was God, yeah, you know, because it was kind of like, yeah, it was brought to them, and
yeah,
you know, what can you say?
And to be honest, that's what happened with me with regards to that side. Now, yes, I was Catholic, but I believed in God, but that was about it. I definitely wouldn't say I was religious. But with the angels and the work that I was doing, the deeper I would say I was connected and more things were coming through, then the divine opened up.
Yeah.
Where I started experiencing Mother Mary, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, the Ascended Masters. And when I got to a place with my work as well, that I had to do removals where I'd be removing entities, also things really dark. It was Mother Mary's prayer, which I couldn't stop saying, was what removes these things. So it's like the angel brought them to me, and that's a massive part of my work now, and my faith, which is one of my biggest things. We say it's not religion, it's faith, but I've experienced that.
Yeah.
I've experienced our love. I've seen what the energy of Mother Mary and Jesus does when something dark has to be removed. But yeah, the angels brought them to me.
Well, I think that's the thing as well, and I think that, you know, not getting onto religion, people have got their own beliefs and everything, but the difference between this spirituality and connection, faith, to religion is it's just unconditional love. Like the energy of God is unconditional love, and anything that says it has got something behind it, like, you know, from man and manipulation over the years or whatever, because there's nothing in God that's anything other than unconditional love. I've experienced it. So so that's amazing that you're doing the work. And so tell us a little bit about the womb healing stuff.
Oh, I am loving.
Are you happy that that's that question?
Yeah.
Not even, well, it's just come through.
Yeah, well, you got the red on and the roses, Mary Magdalene.
Well,
I'll just say, we've done some healing on each other today.
Oh, yeah.
And we never do this, do we? Like, we never do a thing where we receive. So I did some healing on Natalie, and I had a breathwork session with Natalie. She made it quite holy for me because she knows that that's my thing, and that's her thing.
And we both do the Course of Miracles.
Yeah, we should love it.
So we actually, during the breathwork, actually opened the book, thinking, right, let's get some guidance.
Yeah.
Was it 190?
190, and was it about letting go of fear?
It was to do with pain and suffering.
And lack.
Yeah, which has been a bit of a thing recently. So it was just the most perfect lesson.
Oh, it was amazing.
And it's reading right through. We let go of some limiting beliefs.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. But that's why I was saying that. So during that experience, I had an experience. So Natalie's like reading the text from the course. And I am literally in this cave in France, and Mary Magdalene too. Which I'm going to visit. But I experienced it a couple of weeks ago when I was on a course in Glastonbury. And I was in that cave, and Natalie was over me like a high priestess. I know it sounds weird, but that's why the roses. That's why you probably spoke about it now and mentioned the room healing, because you're like a priestess in the tomb with me. Yeah,
Wow.
little out there, but this is
Don't worry about it. This is what we've got.
Yeah, the Magdalene womb healing. What a journey I have been on with that. So obviously, primarily the angelics opened everything up. But I've very much gone on a journey with Mary Magdalene, really deeply. I would say the last 12 months. Yeah. Even my confirmation name is Mary after Mary Magdalene. So yeah, this journey with her has been really, really profound, really special. I've gone through quite a few dark nights of the soul during it.
Wow.
Because we've gone that deep into it. I didn't think anything could be more profound than my angelic journey. But this stuff again, it's like brilliant, bring it. More profound, just like didn't think it could get any better. So the womb healing, and it's Magdalene womb healing, and it's such a beautiful and ancient healing modality. So my teacher has directly channeled all of these teachings from Mary Magdalene. So this is her course. These are her teachings that I now teach. Do bring some of my own stuff through, so my own channelings come through now. But primarily it's come from the teachings that I've had with Eloise, which have just been so magical. So the womb healing stuff that I am doing here is getting quite, really getting some traction with it. And then initially I think people felt like, oh, do I only come and have this womb healing if I'm having problems with fertility, if there's been sexual abuse? And as I'm going through this journey, I'm like, this is something all of us women, we need to go and do. We need to tap into our inherent power within our wombs, clear all this energy, the trauma and energies that are stored within there, because we have all had trauma within our wombs. Every single woman in my ears ringing like that, because there won't be a woman on this planet. Yes, like Laura said in breathworks as well, there's little trauma and there's big trauma. Yeah. But it's still trauma trapped in the body. And we carry all of our gifts and our intuition. Everything is stored here. It's a life. Yeah, but if you think it's a life force of creation, we birth children, we create life. But if we in this lifetime, none of us really know about like how do we tap into the womb? How do we tap into that power and harness that energy up through the heart, bursting it open with love, up through the higher chakras, which is our gateway to our consciousness. So I'm going off on a tangent, and I probably will do with this. But yeah, it's really beautiful. It isn't just for people that have suffered like abuse and trauma, we'll have all experienced something, even from having sexual relationships with people that have come from lust.
Ooh, okay. What about like ancestral stuff? We're talking like lineage, like old past life.
Right. So it's more past life. We do ancestral, which is our ancestral lineage.
Right.
We're talking about our direct past lives.
Right. Okay.
And we had to work through some of that stuff when I was last with Eloise. About our past lives and how we could be blocking certain things in this life. And also almost going into some of the same relationships with the same people. Okay. For instance, we did some stuff with the witch wound, and I hate the word hate it, don't like it. And someone says to me, you're a bit witchy, and I go, I'm angelic. Not witchy. And so we said this in the course, and Eloise, we're going to do with it's like a trigger. Yeah, like during the witch read, and I was like, oh, I don't like that. She said, why? I said, because I don't. And she was like, right, well, there's dark forces in anything. Yeah. And as you know, like there's angels that are not of the light. So there's witches that are not of the light. She said, this is a massive trigger for you. You've really got to work through this. Wow. There's been something where you've been persecuted so much. And then when you've come back in another life, you're like, I want no attachment to that.
I think there's definitely stuff, isn't there, where people are bright to shine in the light in this lifetime because of that's gone on in the past where maybe the gifts were exposed.
Absolutely.
And they were persecuted.
Yeah.
Said.
Yeah. So I feel a bit easier with that word. I still got work to do. But honestly, when she said it, it's like, it's repulsed. Yeah. So yeah, we do the past life stuff, ancestral, working on like the family lineage, so 7 lineages before us and the 7 lineages that are going to come after us. Yeah. And like I said, the relationships, we've all had a sexual relationship where it's not been because of love. Yeah. It's been because of lust. Yeah. That is a trauma. That is not honouring you. It's not honouring yourself as a sovereign being and as a woman. For example, Tampax as well. Putting the Tampax in, one, they're toxic, and also you're not allowing the natural flow of what needs to flow through us. Right. So, like, toxicity from the blood that is stored within the cervix and the uterus as well.
What?
Yeah. When I did my first womb healing, it was literally the stuff that happened to me externally that was coming out of me was wild.
Wow.
Absolutely wild. And how you connect on a spiritual level as well is literally just going to skyrocket your connection and bring you into such a place of being at peace and connecting with yourself as a woman.
And I think that's one of the things, like, if somebody was to say, well, why would you want a spiritual awakening? It's like, it's a journey, isn't it? It's definitely not all unicorns and rain. It's not, because your darkness does come up. And you've got to look at it, and you've got to look at what you believe in and what you're saying and your thoughts. And, there is a lot of work to do, and it can be pretty bumpy.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go, why didn't it? Hang on a minute. Change my mind.
I want to get off, and then you're like,
That's enough now.
I'd rather be in it and be that whole place.
But the amount of healing that happens as you just kind of peel away the layers of, of all these defenses that are here to keep you what you think is safe. Well, essentially, you live in half a life, a quarter of a life.
Yeah.
Whereas as you start to heal, you feel safer. You become more authentic.
Yeah.
You're not pretending to be someone that you're not. You're not people pleasing. You're not obligated to do. Oh my word! Yeah, do it. Yeah, all the things that we used to do. I mean, a lot of the partying stuff. When I look back, I mean, God, I loved to party.
Oh, I did. I
think I was excellent.
Yeah,
I was excellent at partying. Excellent at not going to bed.
Yeah, me too.
These people that go, right, that's enough for me. I was like, what? What is this witchcraft you speak of? But what I realised now was, it was because I could put on a mask, or I could feel. I think I would say it made me feel better in the moment, because whether you're doing ecstasy or whatever, like you feel like the walls have come down, yeah. But unfortunately, because it's a fake high. The crash is massive. Then you try and get up there again. And I just really see how much I was using it to try. There was no healing going on. It was just a way of trying to feel different. And just really seeing like how exhausting it is.
Oh yeah.
It's exhausting trying to play that character, play that part. So it's just really what I see about the healing that's happened for me is this being able to step into my authentic self. Like, there's no pretending, there's no putting on a fake. It's just this is it. And this is like the truth of who I am, who I'm supposed to be. If I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. And I'm definitely not going to pretend to be in a certain way if I'm not.
It's reinforcing that is for you. And it's like, oh God, literally.
Oh God. So, okay, so just to finish that,
yeah.
I don't know how long we've been going, but so just tell us, what kind of things have you got on in the studio, and do you do things online, and how can people find you?
Okay, so my studio is in Wilmslow. My Instagram is Jayne Divine Healing. That's it. That's me. So I do a whole host of different things. My primary work is one-to-one healing. So it's the angelic healing in this beautiful studio. Here in this studio, which is literally a little piece of heaven.
It is next level. It is so absolutely stunning. It's stunning.
It's gorgeous. So I do my one-to-one healing, the angelic, the Magdalene healing. I teach angelic Reiki as well, accredited course from the founders of angelic Reiki, because there's a ton of offshoots at the moment. So I teach that as well. I do Magdalene womb ceremonies. I do retreat days. We had another weekend where you came and did your breath work, brought your gorgeous cacao. Yeah. So like bespoke wellness days, we're going to be looking into some corporate wellness.
Very important, actually, while we're at it. Corporate wellness days.
Yeah.
So here in Wilmslow, I mean, we will go out as well and do days on site. But this studio, for a corporate wellness afternoon or a workshop, breathwork sound workshop, we don't have to get into all the angelic stuff at this point, but I imagine people will probably want to get involved at some point.
Yeah, but like we're going to start with the breath and the sound.
The breath work and the sound for corporate is just as an inroad to getting people to releasing stress, releasing old stories, releasing suppressed emotion and stuff that is really kind of putting them off balance with their nervous system, because essentially your nervous system massively affects your mental health. Unless that's sorted, it's going to affect everything. So for corporates, we're looking at reducing sick days, enhancing performance at work. So we definitely see, both of us having been in corporate, we can see how debilitating it is to be in an environment like that with a really dodgy nervous system, feeling under pressure, feeling stressed, having to wear the corporate mask. Like, this is a beautiful way for people to share ways to really release them from that.
And bring them into so much just peace within themselves and the stillness of the mind.
Yeah,
which
totally.
is so important.
Totally, yeah.
I'm looking forward to us doing that.
Yeah.
We're going to do corporate stuff together.
Yeah.
Wellness days, which will have like yoga in, breath work, vision boards for the new year coming up. I do sound baths. What else did we do?
We did on the day that we had last Sunday. I mean, we were juicing, ceremonial cacao, which is amazing for mental health as well. A beautiful buffet. It was gorgeous. Cake. You had me cake.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous, wasn't it? Meditation, yoga, and then we just all sat around this table in the middle. This was like bringing our inner child out.
Yeah.
We sat around this table for an hour. We all had like drinks, like, I don't know, cacao and yoga teas, just talking and getting creative and cutting things out and putting our dreams, our desires onto this board. It was just a gorgeous day.
And the beautiful thing about these days as well is, like, you can come in and not know anybody.
Yeah, well, it's usually that way.
And everybody could be a bit nervous, especially if you come on your own and you leave feeling so connected with people, like you've made friends for life. Because when you come into a space like this and you feel held and you feel nourished, but you feel free to be vulnerable, you're not turning up pretending to be anyone else. You don't have to be on. You can just sit back if you want to. But it's just beautiful because everybody starts to share.
Yeah.
When people start to share, you start to cry.
And you start to laugh.
And it's authentic relationship.
Listen,
You don't need a drink. You just in the present moment, feeling good, feeling held, and healing together.
Gorgeous.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. Right, well, thank you so much for coming along.
That was nice.
Yeah, and we'll put your details underneath, and if people want to get in touch. Thank you. What a journey.